All right, hi, my name is Jack. I am Dr. Amanda Noel's twin flame, and today I'm going to be talking to you about twin flame separation. And if you are in twin flame separation now, boy, do I empathize with you, and I feel for you, and I know what it's like. And today I'm going to go into great detail on the stories of my twin flame separation so that you know that you're not alone and that there is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel, I promise you. So without further ado, I'm gonna get into the story. So I met Amanda on the dance floor at Ecstatic Dance in Oakland, California, which is where she was born, and I saw her on the dance floor. I saw this big light. I just saw like this, that's just what I remember. And I walked towards the light and I grabbed her hand and I danced with her, and we danced for like an hour straight. So then we went on a date after that, and that's just when sparks started flying, and we went to Burning Man together and had these just amazing times. And it wasn't until about a month into dating Amanda when the first twin flame separation happened. Now, the twin flame separations, actually, we have a very unique history in our relationship where she basically ran from me probably 7 times. 6 or 7 times. And it was basically the first 6 months or so of our relationship where it seemed like, almost following the patterns of the moon, she would want to break up and doubt, and she was doubting our relationship basically once a month, very seriously. And so I went from, you know, falling in love with her, wanting to be with her, wanting to go deeper into our relationship, to then basically her running every month. And so we would have a deep dive, we'd fall in love with each other, you know, every single month, and then towards the end of the month, then she would doubt our relationship again, and it was just this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I can call them mini twin flame separations. So we had probably 6 mini twin flame separations, and then we had 2 major twin flame separations. And so I'll go into those 2 major ones. So right before the first major twin flame separation that we went through, it was about 5 months into our relationship, and we were still in that beautiful honeymoon phase. We were even talking about getting married. I remember one of our good friends calling us up, "Hey guys, come to my house. We're having this awesome party. We're gonna have these amazing drinks, and you know, come hang out." So we went to this party, and I noticed that Amanda was hitting it off with this other guy. I thought maybe they were just really friendly. I didn't necessarily know for sure if there was attraction. I was kind of blocking it out because we were just talking about getting married earlier that day. But basically, towards the end of the night, she was acting pretty weird, and so I asked her about it. I've always been really intuitive, and so I asked her, you know, "Hey, like, what's the deal? Like, what's going on?" And she slowly opened up and she said, "I feel attracted to this guy, and I don't know what to do about it." And so when she said that, my heart dropped, because I realized that maybe this might not work out. If she's really attracted to this other guy, maybe more so than me, you know, of course, a lot of my self-worthiness stuff was coming up. And yet I remember during this time, I was fully committed to being in my divine masculine. So being in a place of love unconditionally and total acceptance of what is, total acceptance of whatever the truth is. So I'm always seeking what is the truth, what is my truth and what is her truth. And so in this example, at the time, her truth at the time, even though looking back on it, it could be like a relative truth, her truth at the time was that she was attracted to this guy. And so I had to really sit with that and allow it, and just as best as I could, I was committed to accepting what is. So if this really is what is in our relationship right now, I'm going to dive into that. I'm going to accept it as best as I can. I'm going to unconditionally love as best as I can, even though it's super painful, the situation that we were in. And so instead of reacting with, like, I easily could have reacted with anger and hostility and like, what are you talking about? We were just talking about getting married earlier today. Like, how could you do this to me? No, I didn't say any of that, but that's what my ego wanted to do. But instead, I felt my feelings as best as I could, felt the pain, felt just the utter grief that was coming up. And I remember that night, you know, basically not being able to sleep all night, felt like a nightmare. Waking up the next morning and just knowing that if I'm here to fully accept what's happening and to fully dive into the truth of what's coming up in our relationship, that I need to lead this conversation and fully get down to the bottom of the truth of what's going on. Because I was so committed to honoring the truth of our relationship, of what we're co-creating, I said that I would still love her if she chose someone else. And so of course my feminine side was also processing a lot, was feeling a lot of emotion, was just getting, you know, totally like heartbroken by this whole thing. So this is not just my masculine perspective. And then my masculine perspective, I was doing my very best to stay present, to continue to hunt for the truth in our relationship and to lead our relationship from a place of love, understanding, and acceptance. So I remember waking up that next morning, just feeling like I experienced the worst nightmare possible. And at the time we were living in this beautiful place in Southern California on the beach. And so I took Amanda out for a walk on the beach and I asked her a lot of questions, like, you know, I forgot exactly what they were, but things like, you know, what are you feeling? Like, do you need to pursue this? Like, do you really feel like you need to go for this? Because if so, maybe we need to put a pause on our relationship. Maybe we need to break up. And she listened to me and she basically accepted that. She's like, yeah, maybe this isn't the right thing. Maybe we've been going into this too fast. Maybe we've been rushing into this. And that if this is coming up for her and we are talking about getting married, that she probably needs to explore this before we commit for the long haul. And of course I had, you know, my feminine side had feelings of like, just terror and horror and disbelief, and old patterns were coming up like, like, what am I gonna do? Like, no, like, who else in the world can I meet besides Amanda? Like, I was about to marry this woman. But the way that I stayed in my abundance mindset was staying in my divine masculine place of power and knowing that I am supported by the universe regardless of what's happening, and that everything is happening for a reason, as a direct reflection of my internal soul. And so I did my very best in this deep, dark challenge that I was faced with to still trust in the abundance of the universe, to trust that there is a divine purpose in this, and that I can trust what's happening, and that I can love and accept this. But what we decided together, and I was leading this conversation, is I suggested that why don't we create a container for the next month. And in this container, we are going to break up for a month and we're gonna cut off contact from each other. We know it's gonna be painful, so we talked about all of the feelings and the reservations and the doubts that were coming up around that. Basically all the fears. We talked about every single one of our fears that was coming up together with as much acceptance as love and love as possible, without judging or making the other person wrong, but just like really listening to the fears that are coming up being super, super vulnerable with that. And then we committed, like I said, to not talk to each other for 1 month. And so once I left to go back to the Bay Area, I was living up there, we cut off all communication, which was the first time we had ever done that in 6 months after talking with each other for every single day, usually many times a day. So it was extremely challenging, but the fact that we prepared for it so well, that we held space for each other, we let each other share all of the fears that may be coming up, we created a really supportive container. And then we knew that at the end of the 30 days, we could reconvene, we could talk to each other again. So during the separation, I was actually getting my finances back in order. It was a challenging time with finances as well. But I got a part-time job and I was doing that. Of course, I was thinking about her every single day, pretty much almost nonstop. And I was trying to think of like the possibility of being with another woman and like trying to like imagine in my mind like who that woman could be, and it just felt weird. It just didn't feel authentic, didn't feel right, didn't feel real to me. I consider myself a well-balanced man. I'm about 50-50 masculine feminine, so I'm not like, you know, even though the title of this video is the masculine perspective, I'm not like all masculine. I still have feelings. At this time, I really didn't know what to think or believe. I was really in the unknown, and that was the whole purpose of this 30-day container that we created. I didn't know if I was gonna get back with Amanda. I was doing my best to accept the possibility of us not getting back together ever again. Of course, the thought of her pursuing this other guy, dating this other guy, was really painful, super like heart-wrenching painful. So I did my best not to think about that. Now, another important thing to note at this time is I was getting really in touch with my soul's mission. And at the time, my idea with that was creating an online university of higher education, of spirituality, relationship, you know, twin flame love, all of these things that we were not taught in school. And it was so fascinating that Amanda was creating that already. She had at the time in 2014 a Divine Feminine University for women. And so since I'm a man, I was thinking about creating the same thing for men. So I was diving into my vision and my purpose with that. That was a really good way for me to focus in my attention on something that I'm really passionate about and that really opens my heart and lights me up and gets me, you know, on fire with my mission. I highly recommend, if you are going through pain in your twin flame separation right now, to just focus every single day on your soul's mission. Even if you don't know what it is, just focus your energy on pursuing what that might be. Or if you do know what it is, just diving into that head first. Now, at the time, I didn't really want to do my mission alone per se. I did like the idea a lot of having my life partner who also has a similar or same mission. And so the thought of doing it alone was not as exciting. And in terms of supporting myself financially, I also had the option of going back to my engineering career, which really did not seem exciting to me, and I did not want to do that. That was not my highest excitement. Now, I want to share really quick, if you are going through twin flame separation, you're in love with someone maybe, or maybe you don't know who your twin flame is, we have put together, Dr. Amanda Noel and I have put together 22 signs of twin flame reunion, and we put that and compiled it into a checklist so that you can know if someone is potentially your twin flame or if they're just not the right person for you. And so you can check out that checklist. I think we put it in the link below this video. So I got through the 30 days of being apart from Amanda without any communication, and grace and synchronicity, unbelievable story. brought me back to where Amanda lived. I had a friend down in Southern California, very close to where she was living. Coincidentally, I swear I was not planning this. But like I said, I was looking for part-time jobs, and he invited me to this event down there, and they had some part-time positions. And so I got one of the positions. I flew down. Coincidentally, it was at the tail end of the 30 days. And so once I wrapped up with that job, you know, I then contacted Amanda, and she said, hey, why don't you come visit? You know, we committed to still stay friends at least and stay committed because we loved each other still, regardless if we were gonna be together romantically or not. And so that's the next time I saw Amanda. So I had so many emotions going on that I had already mostly processed throughout that month. And my mindset going into it, because I always pride myself on my mindset, and I think mindset is key, is going into this, I was still committed to accepting and loving whatever is the truth of my relationship with Amanda. And so that means honoring my truth and also honoring her truth. And so my truth was showing up for whatever the truth is in our relationship. So I met Amanda at the door at her place, walked in, and we immediately hugged and had a conversation about, you know, what's our connection now? What are we gonna do now? And as the masculine, I led the conversation and shared what my truth is, and that was, I am happy to be friends with you. I'm happy to just be here with you, and I love you, and I'm not attached to that being romantic. She was okay with that. She was cool, and I think she felt safe that I wasn't going to, you know, try to hook up or whatever, that I was there to serve the highest good. I wasn't there to pressure her to do anything or be anything that she wasn't comfortable with. And so I honored her feminine. I honored her exploring her feelings and having the time to do that instead of taking it personally. I wasn't taking it personally. Yes, I was feeling a lot of intense emotions and I was letting myself feel them, but I wasn't blaming it on her. So my thoughts and beliefs at the time were, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I believe that the truth of the universe in my soul connection with Amanda is unfolding exactly how it should. And as long as I show up as best as I can in my truth and speak my truth fearlessly, that everything will work out as it should, and that I shouldn't be attached to any sort of outcome. Now, I can't speak for Amanda, but I imagine that she was feeling similar feelings in that she still loved me. We have this amazing connection. And so since I was committed to honoring her and her experience, I believe she felt safe to spend time with me still, and to not just to go into that like nasty like breakup thing. And I wouldn't say either of us were out of integrity, because we were speaking our truth every step of the way and honoring each other and honoring each other's process. So to my surprise, once we started hanging out with each other again as friends, we then started to basically get romantic again, and it just naturally unfolded moment to moment. And I think the fact that we were just so present with each other, instead of trying to get into labels or conclusions of like what our connection is, we just stayed really present with what's here right now and just connecting and just having fun and just enjoying ourselves, that it just naturally unfolded. And so by the time I was leaving, Amanda said, well, are we together? Like, I want to be with you now. And so to my surprise, we got back together. And of course, I was very happy with that outcome. Okay, thanks for watching my first major twin flame separation. I'm gonna share the second twin flame separation that we had that was a little bit more intense. In the next video, I'll be coming out with that in the next week or two. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, check out the 22 twin flame signs of reunion checklist that Amanda and I have put together. We've made a fancy new beautiful PDF for you guys and a beautiful opt-in page with these beautiful new graphics that our amazing graphic designer has created. So check it out in the links below. Much love, and I'll talk to you on the next video.